On the afternoon of November 29, 1970, Marcus, a history teacher, went to the Isdalen Valley, near the Norwegian city of Bergen, for a walk with his daughters. Walking down a path, a smell of burning meat caught his attention. The trail led him to a grisly find, the charred and smoking body of a woman. The corpse was lying on some rocks, arms outstretched. The front part was completely burned, including the face, so it was impossible for the police to identify her, although strangely she had no burns on her back. The objects found around the body also attracted attention: a bottle of sleeping pills, a bottle of cheap liquor, an empty passport cover, some clothing, and a silver spoon. Even the placement around the body was strange, as if it was some kind of ritual. All labels and badges had been removed, as if to hide any trace. An autopsy revealed that the woman had died a painful death from burns and carbon dioxide inhalation, but more sleeping pills were also found in her stomach, about 50 pills. It was impossible to take fingerprints. They had been removed by a sanding process. She also had a severe bruise on her neck. The first investigations led to a woman who had stayed in several hotels in the area with false identities. She had strange behavior, and she changed rooms after checking in. She presented herself as a business traveler or antiques dealer and claimed to be Belgian, although witnesses heard her speaking in English, French, and even German. After a first robot portrait, they found what could be an illuminating clue: 2 suitcases that he had left in the lockers of the train station. Inside were found several wigs and pairs of glasses without prescription, money in different European currencies, more silver spoons, 9 passports with false identities, a lotion for eczema without labels, and a notebook with coded annotations. The police managed to crack the code, but they were simply a list of the trips and places where she had stayed. Strangely, the case was closed after a few months without further explanation, determining that the cause of death had been suicide. On February 5, 1971, the Isdal woman was buried in a grave without a headstone in the local cemetery, in a funeral attended only by police officers and some onlookers. She was buried in a zinc coffin to preserve the body in case of a future exhumation, and her jaw and some samples of her tissues were kept at the Forensic Institute. Theories about her identity soon began to emerge. The most plausible was that she was a spy, but who was she working for? With the passage of time, new clues and testimonies have appeared. In 2005, a neighbor told the press that at the time, while taking a route through the valley, he came face to face with a woman similar to the one in the description. She was wearing a street dress. She was not prepared for the mountains, and she seemed nervous. She started to say something to him but didn't say a word, and looked back at 2 men in suits and coats following her. When the neighbor went with his testimony to the police, they told him that the case had already been resolved and that he should forget about it. Isotope analyses recently carried out on the preserved jawbone determined that the woman was born around 1930 in the Nuremberg area, but moved during her childhood, somewhere along the French-German border, confirming calligraphic analysis, which indicated that she had received a French education. In 2018, the NRK and the BBC published a podcast series titled Death in Ice Valley, which includes interviews with eyewitnesses and forensic scientists. In June 2019, the BBC revealed that podcast listeners had provided some clues. More than 50 years later, the Isdal woman remains an intriguing case. What prompted her to travel around Europe? Why was she hiding her identity? Was she an escort or a criminal? For someone, her death may have been wanted. Did you know this case, TikTakers?
If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it. And if you want to see more Draw My Life videos, subscribe to our channel. See you on the next episode.